Hey friends, in today's video, we're taking our doodles to the next level by drawing some pretty flowers using markers. It's fun, quick and easy, and the results are amazing. So let's get started. Let's start with some roses. Starting at the center, draw some broken lines spiraling outwards. I'm using a brush pen marker in a peachy shade here, and the great thing about starting with a light color is that you can easily layer on darker colors on top of it later. So I'm gonna use a slightly darker pink to do another set of broken line spirals on top of our first layer. I've also drawn a greenish circle in the center and I've added some dots to it as a nice detail. Let's do a few more roses so it looks like we have a cluster of roses. You can vary the sizes of the flowers or try different color combinations to bring some variations into the illustration, and it ends up looking so pretty. For this last rose that we are drawing here, I'm starting with a pinkish shade, and for the second layer I'm gonna go in and use a magenta or maybe like a burgundy shade. And I just love the contrast in colors that's happening here. Let's add some leaves. I feel that surrounding light colored flowers in dark shades of greenery makes the flowers really pop. So I'm drawing some dark green pointed leaves. Maybe draw some spikes along the edges of some of the leaves to give them a toothy appearance. That's how rose leaves sometimes are. Let's add a few more to give the piece a more balanced look. You could also go in and add some veining on the leaves to give it a more detailed look, and our roses are looking pretty good. Next, let's draw some lavender. For the lavender blossoms, I'm drawing these oval shapes in pencil as a guide, and using a lavender marker, I go in and fill it with little heart shapes, ovals and squiggles. It doesn't matter, just fill that oval guide, keeping it a bit wider at the bottom and go narrower at the top, and you'll see that the lavender starts to take shape. And then I go back in with a darker shade of purple and do some more squiggles and dots over our first layer, and the contrast in colors makes the lavender look really pretty. Add some grassy leaves around the lavender blossoms, and that's it. Let's draw some flowers that look like cone flowers or perhaps daisies, starting with drawing the stamen using a brown marker. Then I'm using a yellow brush pen for drawing the petals. It's a lot of fun drawing petals with brush pens because you can use the body of the brush tip, just drag it to form the petal shape in 1 or 2 strokes. A lot of fun, just try it. Adding some details to the petals, just simple lines down each petal, and perhaps you could darken some areas of the stamen using a black marker. And let's draw one more of these flowers. They look good in a cluster, a few of them together. And then you can finish off by adding some leaves, and it's just a happy looking flower, I feel. Next, I'm drawing these flowers that look like berries. They're called rose hips. Draw some ovals for the flowers, fill it in. You could leave a little bit of a gap for the highlight. Then I use a brown marker to draw some spikes on top of the flowers. Add some shading on one side of the flowers to give it some dimension. And also I'm using the same marker again to draw some stems and tiny leaves. For our next illustration, we are drawing some branches. I'm using a brush pen here to draw the leaves of the branches And the great thing about using brush pens to draw leaves is that you can use the body of the brush to form the shape of the leaves in 1 or 2 strokes. It's almost like using a watercolor brush, and it's a really happy process doing that. And as you can see, I'm layering on a darker shade of green on top of our lighter shade, and this gives the illustration a very fun look. Add some berries or flowers that look like berries, and these branches look very pretty when drawn on greeting cards, and it's perfect for the holiday season. I like to draw them on bookmarks as well. And let's join up our berries using some tiny little stems, and our branches looking pretty good. Moving on to our final piece for this video, which we start with a cluster of yellow dots that we join up using some green stems, and you'll start to notice how simple it is to draw these flowers, yet they look so beautiful. When drawing flowers, you can draw ones that resemble real life flowers, or you can draw from your imagination, whatever brings joy to your soul. Just enjoy the process. That's what matters in the end. So we're finishing off by adding some leaves in a few places. Also, I'll add a hint of orange to the base of our flowers. That'll be like a nice shading. And that's it. There, my friends, some beautiful flowers using basic supplies like markers and brush pens. They're great for greeting cards, sketchbooks, your journals. They are so much fun to draw. I hope you give them a try. I'll see you next time.